What's going on, guys? Welcome to Boost Kingdom. Here we will talk about some useful tips and guides about Destiny 2. Let's talk about armor stats. And y'all say, what? Armor stats, what stats do? What we need to do to beat mobs by one button. Let's roll, dudes. First and foremost, armor stats are unique on each piece of armor that goes into the world pool of specific values that gives you effect in your game abilities. Simple case, 1 mobility on your helmet, 1 mobility on your gauntlets, 1 in your leg armor, and that's all equal to 3. Yup, I'm an egghead. Catch a little tip, if you were to hover over that 10 mobility stat on the bottom, you should see one white block with a number 1 in it. D2 will take whatever your overall value is of that specific stat and break it up into tiers of 1 through 10. So if you have a 10 out of 100 mobility, then that would be the same as having 1 out of 10. Listen carefully. I did just mention, the 10 out of 100 stats can only go up to 100. Technically, they can go higher. But if stats higher than 100, it will give you nothing. Nothing! Don't raise up your stats higher than 100. If you have a lot of free time, just hit the like button. It'll be more useful. I will explain more to you. For example, 6 mobility means that everywhere from 60 to 69. If you raise up a stat to 7, you should be leaving 6 tier of stat and going to 7 tier. What comes around goes around, and you would be getting a better benefit as opposed if you were at 69, and the same as if you were at 70 and you drop down to 69. It means you were just going down to 6 tier. So if you're trying to go from 75 to 76 mobility because you think it's better, well, it's not. Don't bother. Only bother if it's actually going to take you up another tier. And last but not least, says a piece of armor is 60 based on stats means the specific values for each stat in that piece of armor when combined together total to 60. So say you had a helmet and it had 10 in every single stat on it. So that's 10 mobility, 10 resilience, 10 recovery, 10 intellect, 10 discipline, and 10 strength. Well, 10 times 6 is 60. It's 60 base. And that is without any mods. So you can put an intellect mod on it and now it goes 70. And now it's 70 base. So you put them on and then it's not a base anymore. That's with a mod. Got it? Let's converse about mods. Yep, you can add mods to your armor to raise a certain stat on that armor. For example, if you have armor that has 10 strength and you add a strength mod on it, it's going to grow up to 20. Every single mod that affects stats goes up by 10, just putting you into another tier. You guys all here? Let's dive to each specific stat and what it does. Strength decreases the cooldown of your melee ability, allowing you to, guess what? Use it more often. Intellect decreases the cooldown of your super ability, allowing you to use it more often. Recovery increases the speed at which you regain lost health, but on a warlock also reduces the cooldown of class ability. Discipline decreases the cooldown time of your grenades, allowing you to use them more often. Resilience increases the amount of damage you can take before dying, but on a Titan also reduces the cooldown of the class ability, the Barricade. And lastly, mobility increases your jump height and movement speed, but on a Hunter also reduces the cooldown of the class ability, the Dodge. Be patient now, as this is the most important thing. Let me introduce you to the service Boost Kingdom, which is representing content for this channel. BoostKingdom.com is a unique service for gamers. We will help you transform your gaming experience into pure joy at a low cost. You are always in good hands here at BoostKingdom.com, and we will always stand by that. What about armor stats? And this is what really depends. For example, for Warlock, you should be statting into recovery for faster health regen, but also the ability to get your Rift back faster. For Titan, important, Discipline for faster grenade regen. And then for someone that plays on a Titan, well, it's weird. Hunter should be statting into mobility for faster dodge regen and recovery for faster health regen. And for Titan, important, recovery and discipline. It was easy? Yeah. Now we're gonna go to builds. Mobility is best if you stomp Mindbender Hunters. If you're always jumping over people like Mario and shotgunning like Action Hero, and if you're not playing PvP, don't worry about resilience. You just need to have just 6 resilience. If you need your super a ton, then you might want a lot of intellect. It all depends, but if you just want a general rule of thumb, and you don't really want to think about it, well then recovery and discipline are both top tier grade AS tier. If your build requires you to going into melee like crazy, well then strength is something you need to be interested in statting into. And now, I will tell you how to get high stat armor. There are 3 ways to get high stat, 60 plus total stats. You need to do raids, Iron Banner, or from Season Pass. Iron Banner still drops insane pieces of armor. The Season Pass armor are still 60 plus base. And by that I mean in your Season Pass you get 3 sets of the same armor depending on what level you are. The raid armor will still reward you with a high set of armor. Now the third and final set you get it's around level 40 to 50. All of the stats are going to be base 60. Let's look closer at Prime Engrams. Always look at the stats to see if they're better than your piece, because I have seen a 70 stat roll from a Prime Engram. That's crazy. Next thing are Crucible Rank Up packages. Crucible Rank Up package awards you with good stuff. They can come with very high base stats. Don't blink, dudes. Lucky Random World Drop can give you good base stats. It could be a random piece of armor with 60 plus stats. It doesn't happen often, but it does happen. Be patient. If you waited for this moment, I will tell you a pro tip. Exotic pieces of armor are dropping with some insane stats now. Exotic you got this season is going to have better stats than an exotic you got last season. So guys, thanks for watching this video. What kind of loadout you think would be better for today? If and only if you enjoyed the video, then feel free to subscribe. We'll give you an awesome guide and helpful tips about our favorite Destiny 2. See you, Guardians, in the next video on Boost Kingdom channel.
Boost Kingdom.